Hi, my name is George Araiza, and today I'm going to talk about the mind-body connection as it relates to health and well-being. So the mind-body connection is undeniable. In fact, the yogis developed the science of yoga to help unify the mind, body, and spirit. In other words, to bring the body and the mind back into a state of balance. So I'm going to demystify the chakra system for you. When we talk about the first chakra, that's located in the area of the hips, the thighs, and the buttocks, and also the psoas muscle. Those tend to be where we subconsciously hold all of our anger, our fear, our resentment, all of those things that are like below the surface. So it's like all the things that we want to put down in our emotional basement. That's what's located in that area. And so many people live their lives not being aware of this. One of the things that I help people do is to release that trauma, that anger that is stored in the body. And there are yoga exercises to help to release all of those feelings of anger, stress, anxiety, fear. I also recommend getting like a inexpensive massage wand so that you can move relaxation through the body. Because anytime we're distressed or we're upset, we tend to clench various parts of the body and we're not aware of it. The second chakra is obviously in the area of the sexual organs, and that has to do with our ability to be creative, think creative. And when we don't feel like we're being creative, we feel a sense of impotence. So it's really important, again, to let go of any resentment that comes up when you feel like your creative ideas aren't being listened to and given validation. For instance, let's talk about the connection of the mind, body, and the chakra system to demystify it. I see so many people who are at work and they'll be like, I ask them, where is all your stress? And they'll say, oh, it's up in this area. And I say, why do you think that is? And they'll say, well, it's because I'm always bent over. And I'm like, no, that isn't true. Here's what happens. People work in situations where they can't speak their truth. Let's say they have a supervisor that they can't just go up and say, hey, I'd like to talk about something, and I want to get your input on this. So when they feel that they can't express themselves, they subconsciously start tightening the muscles in the neck. And then that tension radiates down to the area of the heart chakra. And by that, I'm talking about people tend to feel disrespected and not loved when they can't speak up for what it is that they need to say, want to say, any of those things. And then that moves into the area of the solar plexus, which is now down near, right above the sex organs in the area of the stomach. So when people feel that they can't speak up for themselves, can't speak up for other people, it causes a lot of tension in this area. And if we hold on to it over time, it causes us a lot of dis-ease because the body is not feeling calm, balanced, and in ease. Then we go to again, this all goes down, and all of the chakras of the entire body is interconnected. It goes into the second chakra, which is these people feel like, they can't be creative. They're not doing what they love to do. And then that affects the tension in the first chakra, where they're not grounded in the reality, because the fact of the matter is they don't want to be in their current reality. So it's really important to think about this connection, which is something that can be scientifically measured. So I always tell people, when you get up in the morning, take a massage wand and just go all over the upper and the lower body. And don't forget the bottoms of the feet. This will really help to release all of this tension, all of this anger, all of this angst that has been stored there for so long. And there are times too when people are like, I was working with a client and he said, oh, everything is horrible, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I said, well, you're stuck because you're not stretching and you're not breathing. And it's important to do both of those things so that we can come back to a state of reality where we are. Because flipping out in our mind isn't going to help change our situation. It's much better to relax and figure out a plan of action and then start working on the steps that we've outlined in order to make sure that our outcomes are positive and that we are successful and that we know how to utilize both our inner resources and our outer resources. So that's why I always tell people, as the body is, the mind follows, and vice versa. We are under there's so much misinformation out there. People tend to think that as you get older, you are going to be less limber, you're going to be, that just has to be your outcome, but that's not true. The more flexible we are in the mind, the more flexible in the body. I've noticed that as people get older and they get to where their legs don't move, there's stiffness, it tells me this, that in their mind they're probably, most likely, very set in their ways. They're not open to change, they're not open to anything new. And so the body follows suit, it just starts to shut down. So it's really important to keep our mind active, flexible, and open to new things like Qigong, yoga, Tai Chi, all of those things that really scientifically help circulate oxygenated blood rather through the body, and that will reach the brain and allow the synapses in the brain to fire more properly, and that's what we want. So I have written a workbook that goes through all these exercises. I also incorporate mirror work and animal therapy. So I have one book that is available on Amazon. This next workbook is going to be given complimentary to anyone who requests it. And this workbook is going to be following, or rather it's going to be preceding the Mind-Body Connection book that I will be publishing. In fact, the title of the upcoming book is The Mind-Body Connection as it Relates to Health and Well-Being from the Perspective of a Medical Intuitive. And I'm going to demystify again, like the third eye. There's so much out there that people are afraid to look into, they're afraid to examine. So all of that is going to be explained in greater detail than I've done for you right now. I thank you so much for your time, and I hope that you will Google me. First name is George, George. Last name is Araiza. A is in apple, R is in Robert, A is in apple, I is in island, Z is in zebra, A is in apple. So look up the books that I've written. I have more coming out, and I'm dedicated to you living the best life possible, because that's what you and all of us deserve. Take care and have an awesome day.